Welcome to the brand new edition of Pre-Snap Look. I'm Bruce Badgley, my buddy Joe Santaliquido. And Joe, hey, you've got the honor of introducing our guests each and every week. Why don't you get the show started?
Yeah, it's our pleasure this week to have the Chester High football coach on LaDontay Bell, who's done an amazing job. LaDontay, this is I think this is your fifth year or sixth year?
Fifth year.
Fifth year as head coach. Gradually, he's built up the program. They have gone from let me take a look here: 2-8, 2-8, 3-7. His fourth year, they went 7-3. Last year, 5-1 during the COVID restricted 2020 season. And now, not and new. We're waiting on the new. That's still happening here. But now, Mr. LaDontay Bell and his Chester Clippers are 6-0.
Yeah.
They are the number one team in District 1, PIAA 5A. They're the only undefeated team right now in District 1, 5A. And it's a team and a program that has not, it's always been competitive. It's always fought. But now you have a Chester program that's on the brink here of making history. And spearheading that is one head coach LaDontay Bell. So Coach Bell, take it away. What's made this possible?
Is a buy-in. I really, from 2016 till now, we've had young men who just bought into the program. It started with myself and some of the other coaches just being consistent and making sure that we're there every day, making ourselves available for the players. And, here we are today. So I believe that our consistency as a staff has really helped us out to where we are today.
Do you think that, the spring slingshot has kind of helped? I mean, literally, I was very fortunate enough to cover your games, cover the championship game that you won there in the the spring league, the U10. But how much momentum did that give you to get the team where you're at now?
And that's one of the big words you just spoke of is momentum. The United 10 League, the spring league in mid of COVID, it really gave us momentum, basically to win that United 10 championship and then to turn around and just have a season. It brought more student athletes out to our program. Young men have bought into the weight room, to the vision and philosophy that myself and my staff have put together. So I think the momentum in the locker room, in the hallways, in the classroom, is really vibrant right now.
LaDontay, talk about some of the young men you have on the team. You have some pretty special ones.
First and foremost, our quarterback. This young man has come from Strathaven. He's come to us and, hasn't missed a beat of his athletic career. He played basketball and turned around and, played football. So Isaiah Freeman, being one captain, leader in the program, he's phenomenal. Last year to be a junior and lead us to the United 10 championship and turn around, he's having a spectacular year. Deron Miller, another young man who's right now on IR. He was hurt in our scrimmage game. However, we've been able to scheme up things on both sides of the ball to remain 6-0, and he's one of our special and elite players. He being looked at by some D1 schools, and to get a lot of things done without him being on the field, it means a lot. It says a lot.
You know what? The one thing too that I've had a lot of fun with when I've been to the games. First off, if nobody's ever been to a Chester football game, they really need to. It is quite the atmosphere there with everybody with the barbecue and everything that's going on. It smells great. Just a great atmosphere. But talk a little bit about your assistant coaches. I always like to talk with those guys before the game and talk a little bit about your assistants. You said now your coaching staff much more accessible to the players. Talk a little bit about those gentlemen and how they're contributing to this program.
Absolutely. That's something that I really boast upon, not myself, but my staff. Can't do it without him. And it's my offensive coordinator, Lamar Shaw, defensive coordinator, LaFinis Terry, and a host of assistants. We don't have many paid positions. However, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator have come to the table and said, these are the men that I need around me to help this program. And so what we've done is reach back to the guys that we've coached. So we have a young staff, and the majority of our staff are guys that are from Chester High, alumni. And so those guys that we taught, those guys that we've coached, they're actually now coaching the young men. So we have a staff of 14.
Wow.
Yeah, a staff of 14 and only 4 are paid. And so that just tells you the commitment of our coaching staff. We have Dennis Shaw, who's our developmental coach, also our JV head coach. James Peach Howard, who is my direct assistant. James is he's like a walking almanac. You know, he just has a tremendous knowledge, and that's something that you just don't walk away from. We have Anthony Moss, who's our linebacker coach. Laquan Baldy, who's a graduate from Chester High as well, played at Widener, a phenomenal athlete. We have Evan Howes, who came from Widener as well, but also a Cheney alum. I'm sorry, a Chester alum. My apologies, thinking about Cheney University. Who else do we have on the squad? Let me see, make sure I haven't missed too many people. We have Darnell Muse, who's an assistant to the offensive coordinator, as well as working with our quarterback, Isaiah Freeman. We have Jay Scott, who's our wide receiver coach, an alumni from Chester. Also, we have Jason McCarthy, who's our lineman's coach, as well as Dave Richardson, who's another lineman coach. So we just pretty much work together to get things going for our players.
Now, this is a challenging week coming up. I mean, you have it's your homecoming game. It's got to be at 11 o'clock at Chester.
Yep.
What's the complex called again, LaDontay?
The athletic field.
The athletic field. It's 11 o'clock again. It's against winless Penwood, but there are always tough games. I don't care if Chester's winless or Penwood's winless. It doesn't matter. When Chester and Penwood play, they are always incredibly back and forth, rugged games. So that's a team you can't look past. Because
Absolutely.
here's the trap. Bruce, after Penwood, they have Coatesville.
Yeah.
Chester has Coatesville. So, hey, we can't turn around and beat our chest just yet against Coatesville unless we get past a pretty feisty, and you know they're going to come after you. They're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you.
Absolutely.
And Penwood. What kind of problems does Penwood pose?
They're athletic. I mean, it's something that you can't overlook. You know, you can't overlook athleticism. When you think that you won a game, here comes a big play, you know, down the field. And we've experienced that versus Penwood over the years, especially with the quarterback that they had in Desmond. You know, he was a phenomenal player. So Penwood, like you said, scrappy. Going to fight. It's our homecoming, so we know there's going to be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And look at Interborough as well. I mean, he took, you know, the last play of the game, though they're not really look on any given Saturday or Friday night, anybody could rise up. And it really took it to, like, you know, kind of a miracle finish to put away Interborough there, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a great game. If I wasn't coaching, I would have really loved to just watch it. It was really a great game. I do believe that Interborough is getting back to what they used to be. With Coach Lennox's retirement, they had to really find their identity, and I believe that having some of the sons of Lennox coming back to coach, I believe that that's helping, you know, their culture and their program. So we're seeing a lot of you know, hard-nosed football from Interborough. So that was just a great game, and you know, we were able to capitalize towards the end and finish with a victory.
But Dante, what did that game mean for your team? Obviously, you won, but the way you won had to have meant something. And obviously, with again your quarterback, Mr. Everything, Isaiah Freeman. I mean, we're talking about, you know, it's almost like a Brady-like finish here.
Yeah. Well, the quarterback is locked in, man. If I could just sum it up in those words, he's really focused. he has goals, and we as a team have goals, and so Isaiah is really focused. And for the young man who received the ball, William Smith, what a great hurdle he's overcome. You know, he's had some things he had to deal with away from the program, and I think that really helped him to rejuvenate his spirit for the game of football. So it was just a great finish.
Talk. Go
What
ahead,
do
Joe.
you like in general, the way you guys are playing? Is it a whole lot of confidence in your defense? Is there a whole lot? Obviously, there's confidence. You're 6-0. There's a confidence all around. But right now, what do you feel most secure about as your team takes the field on Saturday morning?
That's a great question. The communication. I'm very confident in our communication among us as staff as well as the players. I don't think that a day goes by where we're not talking about the game of football and also the expectation for the week. I'm very pleased at that of our DC defensive coordinator as well as the offensive coordinator, that they're having their Zoom meetings, that they're speaking to the coaches in group chats, even the players, you know, myself communicating with the captains on a daily basis through text, through calls, through FaceTime. You know, the communication is real. And I believe that that's one of our strong suits right now, where we're continuously talking about the game and making sure that we're focused.
LaDontay, is there a feeling? Do the guys get it? Do the kids get it? The brink of history that these guys, the guys are on. Do they know the Chester football history? The fact that, again, correct me if I'm wrong, the Clippers have never been to the district playoffs, and obviously if they've never been to the district playoffs, they've never won a district game. I mean, I got the picture as you and I are talking right here on October 4th. We're not just going to just make it and get in and play. We are 6-0 for a reason. We're going to win this whole freaking thing.
That's right.
But obviously it takes one step at a time. It takes getting in, and then from there it takes winning. Do they see what's in front of them? Do they see the history? Do they embrace it?
That's the beauty of us having a walking almanac. James Peach Howard, one who's been there for ages, who's able to talk about the game from then to now, and some of the games that were close, some of the games that could have led the Clippers, the programs, to the playoffs. So he's always speaking knowledge and wisdom and having them think about the history of it. He brings out in practice, he's always bringing a history nugget for the players to take home with them. So I believe that we're always keeping that at the forefront, understanding that we're really close to making history with this team and with this program. So I think that every day, every week, that there's something to take home regarding our history.
That's just pretty incredible. And, you know, yeah, you've got a whole new set of expectations now for Chester football. And, you know, that's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Joe, you have a last question here for Coach Bell?
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep on bugging him. He knows this. I'm going to see him a couple weeks. We're going to see each other in a couple weeks. I'm going to miss you this week. I'm looking to go to Vegas. I'll be there for Wilder and Fury. Let's see how that
You
plays out.
boxing
I know
guys.
he has some boxing history there, but and then we're going to see each other against Coatesville on the 16th, Saturday morning, the 16th, and I'm looking forward to that. And it's been a while since I've been to Chester, and I really, really look forward to it, because a lot of the guys he mentioned that are coaching for him, it's scary that I covered it one time or another, or covered the brothers, or covered siblings, or relatives. I mean, so there's a history there. I had the joy, the great pleasure to go to the Ridley Garnet Valley game this past weekend, and seeing a bunch of people I hadn't seen in years, and it was great just to come up and pick right up where, I left off with a lot of these guys. So I'm really looking forward to a couple of weeks from now, going to Chester, going to the high, and seeing some folks that I know I haven't seen in a while, and it'll be great to see them and do some catching up. So, and then on top of that, seeing a Chester program that's going to find out a lot about itself. And Coach LaDontay and I spoke about this for a little bit yesterday in reference to how in many ways this could be a win-win for Chester. Obviously, getting to know Coach Bell, he's going in to win it.
Absolutely.
But here's the deal. Coatesville is a major 6A. They are always a state contending type team. And even if Chester gives them a game, and I'm very sure Chester's going to give them a game, win or lose, I got a feeling Chester's going to come out benefiting from this whole experience. Because in the end, what's the saying? Iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. And the Clippers are getting to know Coach Bell. They're not. It's just not. We're happy to be here. You know, this is a team right now, the only undefeated 5A team in District 1 5A, 6-0 Chester Clippers. And the man in charge is LaDontay Bell.
Well, listen, thank you very much, my man. I plan on being down there and hopefully covering a playoff game, you know. I mean, obviously, which sets a whole new precedent for you guys. Listen, LaDontay Bell, thank you very much for spending a few minutes. Always, you know, a busy time for a high school football coach during the week, but we appreciate all of your time, sir. And best of luck. And like I said, Joe will be down there and getting up close and personal here in a couple weeks.
Awesome. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. Yeah, just go ahead and exit out.
All right. Take care.
Take care now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really got to know the program, you know, and doing the U10 and getting to know them and what have you. And I got down for part of the Interborough game, and but it's a very unique place, a very unique situation. I always like to take a picture of from with my back to I-95, so that I have the field and the players framed with the bridge in the background, which the Commodore Barry Bridge. It's very picturesque.
But I'm happy for Coach Bell. I'm happy for that program. I go back to Mike White. I go back to Willie Bates. I go back to who I'm in frequent contact with, Ronell Williams, who was a great linebacker there at Chester, went on to play at Westchester. If it wasn't for a knee injury, Ronell would be in the NFL right now. But Ronell Williams is in the NFL right now because he's one of the coaches at a very ripe old age of 28 years old. He's a coach for the Chicago Bears.
Hey, my Bears.
Yeah. And he's there with Lamar Campbell, who is part of the Bear personnel squad. Lamar is a Chester guy.
Wow.
And Nichols, their defensive tackle, was born and raised in Chester, even though we went to high school and went to a college. Bilal Nichols, I went to high school and college in Delaware. He was born and raised in Chester. Right. So there's a lot of real strong history in the Chester area. And congratulations again to Coach Bell. And again, I got to feel getting to know Coach Bell the way I have over these past 6-7 months. It's not just, you know, we're happy to be here. Like I said earlier, he's going in there to win this. And you know what, Bruce? They have, from what you're telling me and what I see and what I'm reading, they have a shot.
Yeah.
They have a shot at not just winning a playoff game. They have a shot at possibly, you know, getting
PIAA. I mean, a district championship and
then which would be immensely historical, and then qualifying for the state playoffs in football, which is a given, covering many years of Chester High basketball, and it's traditionally been a basketball school, basketball powerhouse. Sure. I believe Chester High's won more state championships of basketball than any other school in the state. I believe they've won 6 or 7, but Chester High hoops had been such a standard for so long, and now what Coach Bell's done is give other young men there in that community another outlet. You know, you don't have to be 6'8", 6'9" to play football. You know, and they have, from what you were saying, what you're telling me, some talented kids. So I can't wait to see Deron Miller. I can't wait to see Isaiah Freeman a couple weeks from now against the
Freeman. I mean, he's very special. And for me, you know, I always like to get to the games early, and that's where I get a chance to mingle with the assistant coaches. And it's very easy to see. I mean, the leadership abilities of this guy. Yeah. I mean, he's the one directing a lot of all the pregame moves and what he wants to do and everything else. So he's a really take charge kind of guy, Isaiah Freeman there. So, but let's talk a little bit about the two games that special games that you got to cover last weekend. I'll let you start with whatever game you want to, because they're both pretty incredible.
Well, let's go first. Let's go Garnet Valley and Ridley. Garnet Valley did what I thought they were capable of doing. Garnet Valley not only is going to be a player in District 1, possibly of winning a District 1 championship. The Garnet Valley team I saw on Friday night, they can compete with LaSalle and Prep. I'm not saying they can beat them, but I'm saying that's a game. They can compete. They come with a lot of talent. They come with some size. They come with some numbers. They're going to be a tough out for anyone. But so Garnet Valley did, and they didn't even actually play that well, and they still dropped over 60 points on Ridley. Garnet Valley did what I thought they would do. I thought they were capable of doing. What I didn't expect was Ridley. Ridley is going to be a tough out. Coach Dave Wood there does a great job. He has some talented players there, some speed, and they put on a little bit of a show. And that game was a back and forth. That game it was fast break football.
I was gonna say, my God, you had over 100 points scored, right? I mean,
yeah, and it went on and on and on and on and on. I think it might have been 35-28 at the half.
Wow. Yeah.
And it just didn't seem to stop.
Well, let's just say I'm glad I wasn't shooting highlights of that on the sidelines on Twitter, because I would have probably ran out of gas after that. I know that the last one that was kind of like that, as I did like Cheltenham Cocalico state semifinal a couple years ago. It was like 35-32 at half. It was crazy.
Ridley's issues on a larger level against the again, they got worn down, got a little bit beat up by a bigger, deeper Garnet Valley team. And that's going to be Ridley's issues moving forward. Again, I saw this kid, Tahir Mills, the running back, quick speed. I saw a young man, Kameen Powell, take a kickoff 99 yards for a TD. And another young man, Nahaja Salim, who also proved to be a tough matchup. And they will be, regardless of who Ridley plays in the district playoffs, and that's the way they seem to be running. I think Garnet Valley may be their only loss, and I'm going to say it right here now. I think Garnet Valley will be, during the regular season, Ridley's only loss. They're going to be a nightmare for anyone they face. And I'm going to go out here too. Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the way I saw Ridley play Garnet Valley the other night, I wouldn't be surprised if those two teams make a deep run. Well, Garnet Valley's definitely going to make a deep run in the district playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if Ridley makes that deep run. And who's to say those two teams don't meet again in the district semifinals, or maybe even the district finals, the way things pair up and shape. So let's see where that goes. But it was a lot of fun to watch. Garnet Valley, I think it was over 4. I have my numbers here. 421. They rushed for 421.
That's
a lot of it coming with a young man, Jason the Bus Bernard. He's a stubby little guy. He looks shaped like a human bowling ball, but he's a very, very powerful and quick young man. He rushed for a career best. Bruce, the kid never rushed for 100 yards before, and against Ridley, and a pretty stubborn, feisty Ridley team, he rushes for 220 and 2 TDs. And
you gotta love that. You gotta love those guys coming out of nowhere like that.
Yeah, and he's a junior. He's a junior, so and he had to work his way up the depth charts because Coach Mike Rickey doesn't. I mean, if you're going to play, you got to earn it. Senior Ryan Saunders for Garnet Valley wound up scoring 4 TDs in that game. So it was, it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be around. It was fun to catch up to a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while. But it was fun seeing two teams really, really going at it, and two high-level teams going at it. And like I said again, Garnet Valley will go deep. Ridley has a shot at doing some things in the district playoffs. The weekend was capped in a very, very big way with LaSalle and St. Joe's Prep at Franklin Field. Bruce, it was an incredible environment. They got over 10,000 people there. They filled one side of the stands at Penn's Franklin Field. And the atmosphere was fantastic. It was incredible. It was electric. A game of halves. Prep had the better of LaSalle in the first half. They go into the half winning or up at the time 14-7. They had held LaSalle, Sam Brown at that time to only 7 yards in the first half. And then suddenly Sam woke up. Sam just went into Sam Brown mode and wound up rushing for a total, I believe, of I think it might have been 120 on 16 carries, but 113 of that 120 came on 10 carries in the second half. A big part of that was an 82-yard touchdown run by Sam Brown, basically outdistancing all of the St. Joe's Prep defenders, which tied that score at the time at 14-14. And then Ryan Moore, LaSalle's Ryan Moore, played a major part in getting LaSalle back into striking range. LaSalle scored 3 consecutive times in the third quarter at 21 points unanswered. That just basically took over the game. And you see, and we spoke about this, if you remember, last week. Now, I had LaSalle number 1, but I also thought Prep going into this game, I thought Prep would win this game. But I did say the X factor would be that senior group that, again, it means something to these guys. That this is, I think, the term that I used in the story. I called it a blood match, and that's the way this LaSalle senior core group treated this. That this was, they were not, proverbial, were not going to be denied, and they weren't denied, and they played that way. Like this is it for them, and this was it for them. This was the mean all and be all of everything. Whereas St. Joe's needed the kick in the proverbial rump. And I think possibly they might have gotten it with this.
Do you think that this game was somewhat anticlimactic? I mean, that because in all likelihood that they're going to face each other.
You're right, Bruce. They will
down the
meet
road
again. They will meet again. My concern with LaSalle, did they play the Super Bowl the first weekend of October?
Yeah, right. I think that's a legitimate concern for anybody. I think obviously St. Joe Prep, you give Tim Roken a few more weeks with those guys to kind of sharpen their iron versus iron or steel versus steel.
Yeah, Tim took a lot of responsibility. Tim took all responsibility for the loss after the game. There were alignment issues. There were situations where it was a very, very unprepped-like team. And I think Coach Roken and I think every player on that Prep team would admit it to a man. I mean, I had it after the game talking to Dan Daly, the superb St. Joe's Prep defensive lineman, turns around and says, this is, hey, give credit where it's due. The South deserve to win the game. No, nothing taken away from them. They deserve to win the game. We didn't help ourselves. The way I think he worded it to me here is we had a weird bye week. And we beat ourselves up, and they did a little bit here. But again, he vowed, we'll see them again. And I asked the question here, and I asked the question certainly in my game steward for Eastern Paid football. Did the Explorers poke the bear? So let's see how Prep, which is a young team,
and I agree with you.
We'll see how they react this weekend, because they have. I'm going down a nationally televised game in Middleton, Delaware. I'm going to go down for that on Friday. And then load up the following weekend. I'm going to go finally see North Penn play CB West. That's going to be a great game. That's the following weekend with, again, Coachville and Chester. That Saturday morning. So there's a lot of great football ahead of us. A lot of great football. And I can't wait.
Well, who was your player of the week last week?
You know what? I'm going to go with Sam Brown. I want to go with LaSalle Sam Brown. Again, he ran with a passion I hadn't seen this season. Sam's a tough player, nothing to take, by no means nothing to take away from Sam. But I saw Sam reach a new level, new height. I saw him. He was moving with a greater alacrity. That's a there. There you go. I had to drop the 50-cent word. With a greater
Wow, that
alacrity
is all right. I'm
in the
gonna have to
second
look
half
that one up.
of
Alacrity,
that.
Al. I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna borrow that one from you the next
Yeah,
time.
yeah. But he just there was lightning there in his feet that wasn't there, and he admitted it. He admitted
Mhm.
it. I mean, he came out. Again, it's in my game story. Hey, I did not play a great first half. I knew I had to finish strong. I knew I had to take things over. And Sam proved, and Sam has the talent to prove it, and he did prove it. I have, to take over these games, and he did take over the game. Our guy Abdul Carter, Penn State bound LaSalle linebacker Abdul Carter, played very, very well. But we gave this to Abdul. What was it, 2-3 weeks ago? So again, it's going to go to yet another LaSalle player, and Sam Brown, who rushed for a game high 120 yards in LaSalle's very impressive 28-21 victory over St. Joe's Prep this past weekend. 132 yards and two TDs coming in the second half of that game. And again, those two teams will see they will see each other again, and I'll be there for it. And I can't wait.
Well, good. And I want to bring up just a quick announcement here. One of our sponsors of our program, GetRecruitedConsulting.com. Andrew Cohen does a great job. You can see that, right?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
And but I would recommend for anybody who is watching this show, who's concerned about their recruiting, give Andrew a call. His number's there, 570-428-2872. He'll be glad to talk with you. And the one thing about Andrew is he's very willing to, just let you know what his opinion is. And just a great service. It's one that if you want to know what your recruiting is or how your recruiting is going, just give Andrew a call. It's very personal. He does have a website, but it's definitely hands-on between him and his coaches. GetRecruitedConsulting.com. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about your top 10.
Oh, top 10 hadn't really changed a whole lot. I don't think there's much difference between LaSalle.
No, I didn't see much difference at all, really.
So LaSalle and Prep stayed the same. Untitled Charter stays at 3. Malvern Prep stays at 4. North Penn, undefeated North Penn at 6-0, stays at 5. Archbishop Wood 4-2 stays at 6. Garnet Valley 6-0 stays at 7. Coatesville is 5-1 at 8. New Magretti 4-1 at 9. Quakertown's undefeated 6-0 at 10. And again, this is going to be more and more refined as the season wears on, as other top teams begin to play more and more top teams as the playoffs near.
Yeah,
I don't think, as I look at this, from what I know, I don't think Malvern Prep's going to be facing anyone that formidable looking ahead.
I would agree.
Wood still has.
Well, they have a tough game, I think, with Father Judge this week. Talk about that a little.
Yeah, my lean is towards Wood. Wood's played, from what I know of Judge, Wood's played the tougher opponents. So far.
I tell you what, I got to know Judge in the spring. They were one of the Catholic League teams that kind of moved back to the spring. They've got a very solid running game. Really like the fact that they've got a core group, just like with Chester here. Clearly, in my mind, that same type of dynamic of taking the momentum of a good spring schedule has rolled over into the fall, in my view.
Well, Wood's going to be tough. Wood's going to be tough for anyone because of Wood's defense.
Right. I would agree there. I'm just saying it's going to be, I think, a lot closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah. Again, my leaning is towards Wood because, again, the competition level that they've played this season.
Yeah, I would agree. And you've talked about on the public side. You've pointed to this Northeast Imhotep game this week.
Bruce, this may also be same case as LaSalle and LaSalle and St. Joe's Prep, where again it's a regular season game, but in the end, I really don't see anybody else in the Philadelphia pub emerging other than these two teams in the end.
Yeah, I would agree.
So let's see where that goes. Eli White is a man child. That's certainly a factor there. Kenny Taylor, who's going to Penn State from Northeast, makes them a tough out for anyone that they're going to face. I wish I could be there, but my other my other obligations are pulling me in another direction that night.
And for, I mean, I really appreciate the fact that, that the amount of attention that you do give high school sports and high school football, especially, is fantastic. I mean, for me, I learned so much from you on just how to approach covering a game, because you've been doing it so long on the boxing side. It's helped me out immensely. So
thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Just in the little, and I never ask you any questions. I just observe how you go about your business, and I think just try and emulate that.
Oh, thank you. And you know what helps me? I think is just treating these young people like, I mean, I have the real beauty of my situation is treating. I would say I'm middle class on the NFL food chain.
Mhm.
I'm spoiled on the boxing side because I'm upper class on the boxing side. I'm part of the cool boy table.
Mhm.
So I get a little bit spoiled in that area. I know what it's like to be on the rock bottom side. The reason why I bring this up is when I'm doing a high school game, I like to treat it as if these young men, and they are young men, I'll talk to them like I'm talking to the pros.
Yeah.
Because one day, a number of them are going to be pros.
Yeah.
One day, and they deserve to be. You know what? I'm not going to talk down to you like a little kid. I'm not going to go that route. I do have lines that I draw that, say a kid screws up a play, I'll keep things in general. Bob Smith High School blew this play, or the team blew this. I'm not going to turn around and individually seek out, put out a kid like that.
Yeah. No,
Again, I have lines drawn in the sand when it comes to high school coverage, and that goes with the coverage I have with high school basketball, with high school football, with all the high school sports. I mean, there are lines that I draw there that I don't ever cross. Now at the major college level, and certainly in the NFL level,
sure,
You
different
know,
story.
it's exactly, it's the open season. These guys are millionaires. They're almost right now. It's to a point in time. It is a point in time where they're all conglomerates. They're major business conglomerates, all into themselves.
Yeah,
So,
right. Correct.
but
You're exactly right.
yeah, but high
They're
school
their own
sports is
brand.
great because these people, the kids, the players. I mean, the coaches, Coach LaDontay Bell, for example, tonight, appreciative of the fact that him and his program deservedly is getting attention and embraces that attention. You reach a point where you're in the pros, you're an NFL player. They say they don't care about the attention. They get the attention. They know the attention's coming their way. And these guys here at the NFL, they've all been great at the high school level. All of them at the high school level. Many of them at the major college level. So they're used to that attention. And then it becomes what's the saying? It becomes old hat to them, or so they say after a while. But I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're a major NFL player or some kid sitting at the end of their JV bench. They love the attention. People love to be recognized, and I don't care what level it is.
Yeah, I know. All right, my man. Well, listen. So you're doing the St. Joe prep game, and
I'm going to go down to Middleton this weekend, and then the fight on Saturday night. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. The first fight was a draw. The second fight, Tyson Fury, big, goofy-looking, chubby guy, who knows how to fight. He knows how to fight. He stopped Deontay Wilder during the rematch. Stopped him in the 7th round. So let's see how this plays out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a fun. Going to be a fun weekend. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me this week, and hopefully the fans do too. And we'll be at it again next week with some more great guests on Pre-Snap Look. So hey, tell your friends about us. And, hey, we've really seen an influx of, new people watching the show. I can tell you that it's a lot of coaches and the people that know this game really like this show. So,
Yeah.
And that's the good stuff. So listen, for my buddy Joe Sandaliquido, I'm Bruce Badgley. Thanks a lot for tuning in for Pre-Snap Look this week. We'll catch you on the flip side. So long, everybody.